Listening to Blue Shirt
Underground Show,
the #1 Rangers podcast. Make sure you tune in and find out all the latest news. Let's go Rangers.
Blue Shirt Underground, motherfucker!
can't BS a Ranger fan. Can't BS a Ranger fan.
This is an unlawful gathering. This is an unlawful gathering. The truth is out there. The truth is out there.
This is the underground. This is new media. This is the underground. This is new media.
Ranger fans, report to the critical thinking hangar. Ranger fans, report to the critical thinking hangar.
And now here is the starting lineup for the New York Rangers. And now here is the starting lineup for the New York Rangers.
This is New York Rangers hockey. 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 This is New York.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Blue Shirt Underground Show. Today is Thursday. It is May the 11th, the year 2023. My name is Professor Jim, and I am joined, as always, on the other side of the window by my esteemed colleague, Professor Edward R. Geik, Esquire, PhD, MB, MDA, CPA,
MIA.
AAB, MIA, Esquire. I think I said that already.
Yes,
Good evening,
Thank you,
Professor.
sir.
And how are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself? Today is Report Card Day.
It is Report Card Day.
I'm glad to see you. The sun is shining behind you. The sun is shining beside me.
80 degrees today in Freemansburg. Shorts weather. I love it. Love it.
Same here. Didn't get to 80, but almost here on breezy Long Island.
So we have gathered. The fans have gathered. They've been waiting. Yes, Eddie will handle wills.
I will handle your will.
Eddie can handle probate. He will be your executor.
And I'll do it pro bono to all my fellow Ranger fans.
Yes.
It's time to be serious tonight. Grades have been given. Criticisms will be handed out.
Careful
Or accolades. Sorry.
Yes. We've given this careful thought, much deliberation.
And this will be based on the regular season only. Because,
Yes.
as I told Jim, everybody sucked in the playoffs except for Igor Shesterkin. So everybody had their bad moments, so to speak.
By the way, in case you're wondering, in case you pay attention to such things, and I know some of you do, you'll notice at the start of hockey season, I was still using my Giants Cup. And then when the Giants season ended, I switched to my Rangers Cup. Then when the Rangers season ended, I have now switched to my Mets Cup. And I'm figuring I have about another week before I'll go back to my Giants Cup.
You should go back right now. I believe the Mets were shut out today.
For the 7th time this season, if you're keeping score at home. It's a nice cup, though. I do like the cup.
They make nice cups. They make nice.
These Tervis stainless steel jobbies.
Yeah, I mean, they make nice things, but
The Mets just
aren't a
can't
nice-
have nice things.
Yeah, the Mets aren't a nice thing right now. We got a pitching staff that's average age of me, and they are not hitting, to say the least. But We're here to talk about hockey.
Yes. And just in case you're wondering, they are dropping the puck in Carolina in game 5 as the New Jersey Devils face what we hope will be elimination. Yes, Sean, it is weird to hear cup talk on a Rangers show, isn't it?
Yes. Very, very, very strange.
So we'll begin the grades in just a second here. We'll just recap very quickly. There's no real news on the coaching front. Nothing to report. To our knowledge, no one has been interviewed. Everyone's being considered.
Yes, names are being thrown around, Jim. Names, some new names. I think Peter Laviolette, we may have mentioned him in the last show. He has, he's getting a lot of support from some Ranger fans out there. As you mentioned before the show, he hasn't won a cup in 20 years. Could this be Torts 2.0?
Would you like to know my interest in Peter Laviolette?
Yeah, what's your interest in Peter Laviolette?
0.0.
Okay.
In case you couldn't hear it in the back.
0.0.
Okay.
None.
None. Okay.
I don't want another retread. I don't want another guy who's made 5 stops. AAA, Costa. They're the Phillies AAA team.
Well,
okay.
I don't really care. I'm at this point where
matters.
I mean, what does it matter? What does it matter who I want for coach anyway?
That's true. Well, that's true.
He's going to do what he's going to do.
Right.
And then I'm going to have to accept it. And then I'm going to have to watch it. And then I'll make a judgment then.
I will say this, that the longevity of Chris Drury's career as GM of the New York Rangers probably hinges on his next coaching choice.
You know, that is
right?
That is true.
I mean, only Glenn Sather gets to hire and fire 8 or 9 coaches. I mean,
right. What a job he's done here, Glenn Sather, by the way. The guy who said he could win in New York like that. And what are we going on? 20 plus years of
it'll be 30 years.
30 years of futility by Glenn. What happened there? The Rangers scored somewhere?
No, that's Jen's text sound.
Oh, okay.
She gets the Rangers goal horn when she texts me.
Oh,
and I guess she turned the show on and YouTube crashed on her iPad. So
I thought you were tied into the Wolfpack game tonight.
Yeah. Yes.
Go Wolfpack.
Oh, Rangers goal. Philip Hedl just scored.
Wow.
Rangers up 1-0 apparently.
Phil, I wanted to say Wolfpack are playing Hershey today. Let's go Wolfpack, motherfuckers. Let's get something. This Wolfpack team has been terrible for years and years and years. Maybe, as Jim suggested in the pre-show meeting, that Knobloch is the choice. No freaking way they go with a guy that isn't a cup winner or has a track record of winning. Although, I will say, you might be right, Jim, but the window is still open, and the Rangers like the shiny new toys. I'd like
to throw them out the window at this point.
They're in what is that? FAO Schwartz? That's where they shop.
Right.
They're getting the fancy dancy toys.
Right.
Okay. So
I just can't imagine. I mean, I don't know. Daryl Sutter. We really want to look at that miserable for 4 years, 3 years, 2 years.
Well,
I'm not interested in Laviolette. That's just me.
I don't really care.
I don't think it matters. This might be the uncoachable team.
No, come on. You said they needed X's and O's, guys. What'd you say before the show? I thought it was apropos.
This team had a coach that didn't do X's and O's, and this team is all Q's and Z's. They might need more X's and O's than any team in the league.
It's true. It's true. But, I looked at the regular season, because we were doing the call. And the Rangers, as much as they were up and down, when it all shook out, they still did pretty well in every category. I mean, they were not face-offs were a problem. They've been a problem forever.
Shiny new toys from Dollar Tree.
Yeah, that's the Islanders.
Yeah.
But, you hear these names bandied about, Laviolette, and they're talking about if they could work out a deal for Mike Sullivan. I don't know if you want to revisit the power play years of Mike Sullivan's tenure here, but as a
Barry
head
Brooks
coach,
mentioned yesterday,
I
Toronto's
don't
coach.
go with that guy.
No? Okay.
No, yeah, go ahead. Tell me what he said.
Well, I'm just saying. He just mentioned it, that if Toronto doesn't, Toronto could look for a coaching change, and he could be available, and mentioned him as a possibility. That's all. That's all.
What? What?
I'm laughing at Sean's comment, but I'm going to keep that one off.
Oh,
screen.
yeah.
We're going to keep that one off the.
They
off
fixed that,
just
though, I
the
think. now.
fossilized remains of Barry Brooks.
Yeah, man. I know some people took some umbrage to you posting that picture of the corpse of Larry Brooks. But,
Well, that was Joe that posted that.
Oh, it was Joe. Okay. So
That
it
was
wasn't
Joe.
even you.
No.
I as far as Larry goes, he's an older gentleman, but you can fix yourself, get your hair did or something before you go on the show.
I told you I met him 15 years ago at the draft. He was a rumpled mess then. He's just an old sports reporter. He's old school Oscar Madison.
Well,
Jimmy Breslin. He's cut from that cloth.
I don't know what they got going on in that podcast. They got Maui Walker.
He's not the skinny jeans type guy like Vince Mercogliano or some of these other guys that are out there.
I still don't. I hate every beat reporter because they didn't tell me nothing. Well, Elliot Friedman and Darren Dreger are the only people that can tell me anything about the Rangers, and they're fucking
right,
and deep in the heart of Canada. All right, so an overview of the Rangers. What I saw was a very good team. In the regular season. It wasn't so great for us to watch, but maybe because we used to having an embarrassment. What is it? An embarrassment of riches?
Yes.
We get a little bit spoiled compared to some teams. Like we didn't get stuck watching Anaheim or San Jose or some of these awful teams. So,
yeah, but the only thing, there was no letdown if you're watching Anaheim.
That's certainly
no disappointment.
True. That's certainly true.
Anaheim fans, their podcast, whatever they call it, quacking around, or con quackers, whatever the name of their podcast is. Duck this team. I don't know. They did their report cards a month ago. And they're enjoying their summer. They've had no disappointment. There's no gaping wound left in their fan base.
Well, I have to say, how long has it been out since we've?
I like that.
Quackers. I like that. The duck this team.
Duck this team. Duck soup.
Yeah, welcome to Duck Soup. The first stop for Anaheim Ducks talk. The duck.
You need the Imus sound effect. Whack, whack.
Yeah. So we already got conspiracy theories. There was a rigged draft for the Blackhawks. Well, good. I want the I'm glad if you Yeah, if you missed the news, they're what? The Connor Bedard there.
Right.
The Chicago Blackhawks have won the lottery. And I like Chicago. Their original 6, I know that means shit now, but they've had some bad luck. I mean, they won some cups. But Taves is all, I don't know, he's got some kind of disease, who knows. And but going way back, I know I'm all over the place before we get to the card, the report cards. But you were talking about Drury. He went from like, this guy is magnificent. He can't do anything wrong.
Went from the penthouse to the outhouse.
In one playoff series.
Right. That's how it works. This is New York, baby.
I know I still don't like him, but look at this trade. He got Kane. He got this. Look at, he's getting everybody for nothing. Mikula is a bonus. Look at this guy. He's making and then one first-round exit. He's one coach away from getting fucking fired. So why did we go through all this shit? Fire JD, fire Gorton, and then we're going to be in the same place.
We're in the same place.
And the only thing that's transpired in those years between Gorton and this guy is everybody's a bust.
Right.
Gorton drafted was a bust. At least in the first round. Well, we got some Hawk haters here. All right. Okay, so yes, now Drury is on the precipice of being fired.
Now, see, they're showing Canes fans in the parking lot tailgating. They're showing this on TV. And this guy's got a pickup truck. And you know what he's got in the back of his pickup truck? A model Stanley Cup. Didn't they fucking learn anything last year against the Rangers?
I told you,
You
Jim.
don't do that. Remember we showed the guy who brought the cup to the Game 7, and I said, this is who you blame if you're a Carolina Hurricanes fan. You don't bring the cup out or any facsimile until it's time.
They can't help themselves. They're Bush
morons.
fans.
They're morons. We're not ordinary fans. We're morons.
When they get eliminated by the Florida Panthers, which they will, I'm going to go. Well, maybe. I'm hoping.
You don't think Toronto's gonna make it all the way back, huh?
I hope so. I would like to see it. See,
I think they're gonna get the 3-3 and then completely demolish their fans, just like the Rangers did. I think they'll come all the way back to 3-3, and Game 7 they'll lose.
Same modus operandi.
Right. I honestly think they're very similar. Joe Garcia said it. Don't touch the money.
Right.
You don't touch the money.
So next year, like say Carolina gets knocked out, and when I go, I'm going to bring a Stanley Cup with me.
Bring a Stanley Cup. Imagine you go walking in there as a Ranger fan with a fake Stanley Cup.
Hey,
buy a seat for it and put it next to you in the arena.
Yeah. I mean, if you guys think you're going to win, I'm going to celebrate too early too, you morons. I don't know if I go back, I would be as vitriolic as I would be. I really kind of feel bad that I ruined those people's time, but I would.
Meanwhile, I think it's fantastic.
Maybe you could join us, and you could be there, and I could feed you lines, because I know you can heckle with the best of them. All right,
I'm pretty good at it once I get going.
Yeah. Costa, you'd get thrown out. You can't help yourself. I know how to heckle without cursing.
I know we're 20 minutes in and we haven't started report cards yet, and we will in 1 minute, but I made a fatal mistake before the show started. I did not do what you did, and that was refill my drink. So if you don't mind, I'm going to take 1 minute. I'm going to run upstairs. I'm going to get some iced tea, talk to the fans, tell them a joke.
Well, I can't really tell any jokes, but I could show you some tchotchkes I got here. This is the Al Capone bobblehead. Yes. This is in honor of the rigged draft where Connor Bedard went to the Chicago Blackhawks, Chicago crime boss, who actually died of syphilis, I think in Alcatraz, which I actually did visit Alcatraz, not as a prisoner, but as a tourist. And I have to say, it's fucking awesome. If you ever get a chance to go to Alcatraz, and maybe some of the Rangers should be sent there for their playoff loss. No, he's all right. He's a
What did I miss?
bobblehead, Brett. He's a bobblehead.
We hire a coach?
Yeah, Al Capone.
Oh, perfect.
He rigged the Chicago Blackhawks getting Connor Bedard.
Perfect. His team plays like it has syphilis anyway.
Yeah, that's what I said. He died of syphilis.
Right.
Okay. All right, let's start it. Let's do it. Let's.
All right, it's time.
You ready, big boy?
Oh,
you're going off,
Joe.
big boy. Oh, Paulie. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, presented for your approval or we give you the New York Rangers 22-23 regular season grades. We'll start with the forwards, beginning with number 93, Mika Zibanejad. And I will start by saying he is one of the few. I feel like my third grade teacher. This is how she used to do this. She would get everybody, and she would read off grades, people's grades. Mika Zibanejad is one of the few players that I gave an A to, Eddie, for the regular season. Again, this is for the regular season.
Yeah,
because nobody's getting a good grade for this playoff series. I don't base it on cap hits.
That's too much work for me.
Right. I can't base it on. I can't worry about cap hits and things like that. No move clauses.
Yeah,
Mika Zibanejad gets an A.
Yes, I mean, I think he definitely made strides in what they say the 200-foot game, as being recognized as a guy who is both ends of the ice. What I found impressive about him, if you just want to go by stats, which is what I go by, and the old-fashioned eye test, no heat maps, suppress shots, totals, or anything. You're talking about a guy who got almost 40 goals. He was lethal on the power play. He had 20 power play goals. And just he really made the power play go. And for a guy who scored a lot on that power play, he was a plus 25, which says a lot to me. And I think really as he went, the team went. And I think that's probably one of the reasons of their first round exit is because he didn't go and the team didn't go, and for whatever reason. But I don't think there's any qualms that this guy is the man, deservedly an A for the whole season. I don't remember too many slumps that he had. He may have had one, but I couldn't find fault with him.
I also want to mention that when I do these grades, I base them on how I see their role on the team, which is why a fourth line guy might get a higher grade than a guy on the first line or
right. Yeah. Same thing with me.
So, I don't base them solely on stats. I base them on how well they perform in their role, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Which leads me to, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, so it's not like, say, for instance, you gave, I know you're not going to, but you gave Julian Gauthier a B and like, say, Capo Caco a B. Doesn't mean they're equal in value. It just was within their roles.
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. Next up, Jimmy Vesey. And by the way, these are in reverse alphabetical order because that's just the way I wrote them down after I sorted them. So they're in reverse alphabetical order. So Jimmy Vesey comes up next. I gave Jimmy Vesey a B+. I always like Jimmy Vesey. I think he's a tough kid. I think for a fourth line player, I have no problem with him. Expectations were too high his first time here.
I just want to
50
reiterate that I wrote these down this time. This is not something that I just doing off the.
It's not Eddie's old calculus homework from junior year.
No.
So I gave Jimmy Vesey a B plus. I think he was, he was expected to be a fourth line guy, and at times found himself on the first line, at times second line, third line, and I thought for what he was brought in for, I have no problem. I gave him a B plus. I have no problem with his game.
Well, before I move into VZ, Sean is giving us some of his thoughts, and he says he can't give Meek an A since he was a ghost for the first 25% of the season and the last 6 games. Although he's been known to get off slow starts, I mean, that just some players where it ends up the finale the finale of it all. I mean, there are a few guys that, you know, you're going to get 82 games of superlative play unless you're Connor McDavid or Leon Draisaitl or, you know, somebody like that, of that nature. And
all right, wait a minute. Who was did Mika Zibanejad finish the season with? Hold on. 91 points, and in the first 20 games of the season, he had 6, 8, 10, 11 goals, and 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, 12 assists. Is that really a slow start? I
don't know.
I wish I had 10 players that started.
I just
slow.
report the news. I have no idea. I
mean, he had 2 goals in the first game of the season, and then 2 assists in the second game of the season, and then 4 points in the fourth game of the season.
Listen, I just report the news.
I'm
sticking with my grades, and you know.
All right. Anyway, okay.
Jimmy Vesey. I'm going to give Jimmy Vesey a B. I mean, this is a guy who came out in a professional tryout. I mean, he went up and down the lineup. He was done everything he could ask. He killed penalties. Wound up with 11 goals, which to me is pretty decent for a guy who was playing, you know, 12 or 13 minutes a game. You know, that's good. I mean, that's a little bit above average. You know, I think for the Rangers who had searched for the Ryan Carpenters and the Jake Lecisions and the Sammy Blaze and all these dopes that we've seen come through in the fourth line, just couldn't get it done. And all I want is 10 or 11 goals from that type of guy. And I got it. And I like this work ethic. I like he wasn't lazy. He's a big guy. I wish he'd be a little more physical, but that just isn't in his game. It never was. And just as a side note, I like the fact that he's got some moves, and he'll try to, you know, he's not a total dud offensively, which a lot of these guys are that wind up on the fourth line. But next year, we're going to have to see, because, you know, a couple of those guys on the fourth line are going to be moving up because they don't have anybody else. So, all right. So, yeah, so I'm a B with Vesey. I was glad. You know, I've been a big Jimmy Vesey fan for years. I always felt like he got a raw deal here. You know, he gets 18 or 19 goals, and we want to throw the guy. It's true. He does have a tiny head. He definitely has a tiny head. No doubt about it. I feel like I'm blurry or something here.
You are a little blurry.
Yeah, what is that?
I don't know.
I don't know why. I feel I'm a little blurry. And I keep thinking it's my eyes, but it's not.
No, it's your camera's a little blurry.
Let me clean this camera off.
It's like you're not focused. See, as you got closer, it got clearer.
Huh. I think I made it worse. Huh. I don't know what's going on here. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about the blurriness.
It's better now, actually. It's like I think it refocused you.
Okay.
I think for whatever reason you just got out of focus there. Now you're fine.
Okay.
All right.
So-
Next up, Vincent Trocheck.
It's a controversial one, Jim. I think a lot of people, including a couple of our esteemed fellow podcasters, especially the great Rock from Two Guys, One Cup, did not like Vinny Trocheck from the beginning, and he's sticking with it. There's nothing going to move him. He's an immovable object. It's a lateral move.
Right.
The great lateral move of Vincent Trocheck. Tell me where you are with Vincent.
I gave Vinny Trocheck a B+. I felt he scored more goals than he has in 6-7 years. He was solid on faceoffs, which is rare on this team. I do think he's better than Ryan Strome. I don't believe it was a lateral move. Really, probably one of the only things that kept him from getting an A was he takes too many penalties. Too many penalties. Some bad penalties at bad times. So that's probably the only reason why I didn't give him an A. I hit a few posts as well. Yes.
Yes. I liked Vinny Trocheck better than Ryan Strome. To me, Ryan Strome really would disappear for games. And whether it was taking bad penalties, I felt like Vinny was involved a lot, especially after the whistle stuff. I liked his little edge. Again, too many bad penalties, and I didn't see the whole he doesn't have chemistry with Panarin. I didn't see that as much as some other people did. I like him better than Strome. I think he's got better years left in him than Strome for the future. As I see, Sean McCaff will not let go of the Mika grade. He is just, but
that's okay. He had, we don't all have to agree. I'm just telling you what I came up with and why.
No, I hear, and I certainly. John Ulness. I don't know how to actually say that last name. I'll call him Johnny U. Johnny Unitas over there says he's downgrading every player 1 grade. 2 grades for Miller and Laffey and Kane. Okay. Everybody's got their system. I like it. But
enough.
I wrote mine down. Did I mention that? With Trocheck, I'm giving him a B. I thought I was getting I didn't really want to like him all that much. It's funny how my mind works. Well, people have been telling me that for years, but here's a guy that I thought was I did think what Rock thought at the beginning was a lateral move, but I grew to like the guy. I like that he's smiling all the time. He's a little bit of an agitator. He's yapping. He's involved. Is he a perfect player? No, but he helped them out on faceoffs. So what did he wind up on faceoffs this year?
I think around 56, 57.
That's phenomenal for a Ranger. I think the Rangers were about 49% as a team.
56.1.
Yeah, that's good. Yes. Most likely to hit the crossbar. Yeah, he had a lot of bad puck luck this year. So that's where I am on Vincent.
Next is Vladimir Tarasenko. Short one. Devils just scored 1-0. He was only here for 30 games, I think. 30 games. And he's probably gone shortly. I gave him an A. One of my few A's. Thought he played. I thought he was much better in his own zone than I expected, and I know that's not why they brought him here, but I thought he got he was fine. I wish he would be here next year, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, let's see. I gave him a B, but I could see how you could give him an A. Frankie would say, I was pleasantly surprised,
right,
by him. Defensively, I liked what he said in the locker room, although it obviously didn't transfer to the other players. Yeah, I mean, he scored some timely goals. He scored some goals. I mean, he was, light years better than Patrick Kane, who, apparently was hurt. They traded for him, which we've already talked about. So I'm giving him a B. Much better player than I thought. He wasn't the prototypical Russian fancy dancy dangler guy. He was more of a complete player, and that really surprised me. So that's
right.
where I am on Tarasenko.
Next up is what may be my most controversial grade. I don't know. This is the one that took me the longest to come up with. Yeah, I agree, Sean. This is the one that took the longest to come up with. The one I put the most thought into, the most review. Artemi Panarin.
This is such I could see why it took you a long time. Well, give me the process. I want to hear about your process at coming through with this grade.
Well, I'll be honest with you. As soon as his name came into mind, the grade I immediately went to was a C+. And to be honest with you, I tried to talk myself out of grading him that low. Because I asked myself, how can you give a 92-point guy in the regular season? If you're only basing this on the regular season, how do you give it 92? How do you give it C+? So I went in, so I did a little deep dive into his numbers. And yes, he put up 92 points. But when you go look at his 92 points, there were big games against bad teams. Bad teams. I mean, one of the only ones that stuck out was his 5-point game against Carolina. That was the rare, really good game against a really good team. Most of his multi-point games, and I'm talking the 3-4-point games. Yes, this is where my betrothed and I disagreed. She didn't agree with my logic here, and that's fine. We don't often, out of all the things we agree on, most of our disagreements are usually hockey related.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
So when I looked at the numbers and I looked at who he had done it against and I looked at his overall performance, he is maybe, and I think I said this a few times during the playoffs, he is maybe the most talented, stupid player I've ever seen. He has talent that most of us couldn't even conjure up in our dreams. He can do things with the puck that are absolutely mind-boggling. And then he does things, makes mistakes that are absolutely mind-boggling. And by the time I was done, I couldn't talk myself out of a C+. So that's what it is. Artemi, C+, my friend. It's a passing grade. Was it C+? I think it's about a 78. I got through high school at a 78, so it could be worse.
Well, you're right. I mean, you're right, White. You are totally correctamundo. For a guy who can, make every player look foolish, every goaltender look foolish. He winds up making himself look foolish just as well with bad passes, drop passes to nobody, that cross-ice pass. Towards the end, he started shooting more, which resulted in him scoring goals. I feel like he's not very coachable either, and I think he's made the remarks and left to his own devices, as he was with Gallant, Rickles, Secret Squirrel, Ernest Borgnine, whatever you want to call him. With Gallant, I felt like he imploded a lot. And he's frustrating.
He is. And you know what's weird about Artemi Panarin is that, and I don't think it's a majority. I don't think I've ever seen this many people in the fan base who are this ready to get rid of a player this talented. Like there's a big portion of this fan base that has no interest in ever seeing Artemi Panarin in a New York Ranger jersey again. And I get that. And I don't even think it's because of his money. I think it
has to do with the money too.
I just think that, after his playoff performance, which is now, 3 years strong or weak, I just think people have seen enough. People have seen enough.
They make a whole big deal about reuniting him with Kane, and then both of them stink the joint up.
Right.
So if this isn't going to get him going, what is? And I think money does play into it, but the colossal giveaways and the colossal bad decisions. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. I've never seen a guy with so much talent who could make up so many stupid plays in a game. I mean, I don't know.
What did Theo Fleury tell us? All the tools, no toolbox.
Yes. I don't know. Maybe some of Putin's operatives were at the Garden and getting him off his game. But, yeah, it's hard to give a guy who is so valuable to the Rangers offense if you look at the points and all that stuff. And you did a deeper dive and,
That's what I came up with.
That's what I come up with, too. He was a disappointment. He didn't have a really good year. Like, I know he accumulated a lot of points, but I feel like he's regressing every year now.
In some ways, intelligence-wise, maybe he's yeah.
Is he? I don't know. Is he too comfortable? Is he? Some coach has got to come in here and stop this culture of passing. I don't know who it's going to be.
And to me, that's still mind-boggling that we have so many players who don't want to shoot the puck. I don't know how you find these people. I really don't. Trade him for Vinny Lettieri. There you go.
Right. Trade him for Frankie Vetrano. Let's get Frankie V back.
There you go. Frankie the Rifle.
That's what you need. Guys are just going to shoot. I'm sorry. I know everybody says that we all yelling it while we're watching the games. Shoot. But
Benoit Pouliot,
another one. Benny on the line with Derek Brassard and Matt Zuccarello. Good line. Okay.
It was. All right. Next up, Tyler Mott. I gave him a B. Fourth line guy did his job.
Gave him a C.
Did you?
Yeah.
Wow.
I thought he was over.
Overhyped for a fourth line guy?
I felt like he was a little bit. It was like, we got to get Mott. And I didn't see the physicality out of him that I saw last year. He certainly was an upgrade from the chuckleheads we had.
Yes.
Right. I just,
Ryan Carpenter and Brodzinski.
Right.
Who
Jake
else? I don't even
Decision.
God, I forgot he was on this team.
Yeah,
I had just about forgotten.
I think he's on that Hartford team that's loaded
Is he?
for bear against
Oh,
the Hershey Bears.
Don't bring any copies of the Calder Cup into.
I feel like we could get like a Tyler Mott. Like, he's not all that special. He's special for the Rangers because we don't have any guys who actually work and got some speed. But I think if you're a really good team, the Tyler Mott's are. I don't know. I mean, I'd like them to re-sign him because God knows what else they're going to try. Well, I guess with your Will Coolies and your Brennan Hoffmans and whatever, he probably doesn't have a spot. I like him, but I don't love him. That's why I give him a C.
Next up, Alexei Lafreniere, the bonus baby, the first overall pick.
Okay. I want you to believe the playoffs never happened.
Okay.
What were your thoughts? Everybody in the chat room, everybody at home, the 500 people in this chat room right now. Think before the playoffs started. Where were you on Lafreniere? Were you saying, well, he's making some progress. I see it. Second half was much better than the first half, certainly. I think we all could agree he's not going to be the primetime player that we thought. He's just not.
Until they trade him.
Oh, no, I don't believe in that either. I don't believe as soon as we trade a guy, he becomes good. I mean,
really?
I don't believe in that.
Alexei Kovalev and Mike Knuble would like a word with you. Mike Ridley and Corey Miller would like to talk.
Oh, please.
Kevin Miller.
Please. You're talking about like 40 years ago. So I think, all right, so we're talking about Laffy. So where were you with Laffy right before the...
Disappointed.
You were disappointed. Okay.
Just not seeing a guy involved every night. Just not. What do you come with? 16 goals, 23 assists. So his assists were up, his goals were down. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't think it was, after a 19-goal season last year, I don't think it was unreasonable to expect 20, 25 goals out of this guy.
But how are you going to get that kind of numbers playing under 15 minutes a night? Not on the power play. Not on the third line. Hedl had 20 goals. What do you want? Lafreniere to have 25 goals. You want Kakko to... Then you're looking at like a Bruins regular season team. I think because the Rangers lean so heavily on those guys, the Panarins, the Kreiders, all the guys who play the power play. What I do find fault is that these guys can't play with anybody other than themselves. You should be able to be productive playing anywhere on the first two lines. And he did get his shot early on playing. And then they had to reunite the kid line because that's the only line that works.
4.
Uh-oh, here we go. He's counting something. He had 9
Alexei Lafreniere was 6th on the team in average ice time for the forwards.
What?
He had more average ice time than Filipino.
Let's see. You didn't believe me on the
his average time on ice was 15 minutes 13 seconds. Filipino was 14:41. Barclay Goodrow had 31 points with 14 minutes of ice time a night.
Well, I mean, that's certainly, I'm looking at it here. It's certainly true. I would assume that once And again, Kane wasn't here for that long, but the last 20 games, Tarasenko was there. I'm sure he was getting more minutes. He only had 15 minutes playing a game. I don't know. I don't have the breakdown in front of me. I'm not defending him. I'm just saying that if you're thinking 25 goals, you don't get any power play time. You don't. It's tough. Now, you're right, though. His production should have went up goal-wise. It should have. Or stayed the same.
I will accept I will counter your argument about power play time and power play goals simply by saying he's not making the most of the time he is getting.
Okay. I mean, that's always been one of my things is you earn it. Because a lot of these people will say, oh, he needs to play on first line. Well, you got to earn it. You just so could get it. I mean, you got to do it. You got me thinking on this one.
He averaged a shot and a half on goal per game.
For third line player, I don't know where that ranks. I mean, I don't know. With all this hemming and hawing I'm doing, I'm giving him a C minus.
Mika, Kreider, Trocheck all averaged near or above 3 shots on goal a game. Even Artemi Panarin averaged over 2.5 shots a game.
Well, because people are passing to them. Filipino and Kako, they're not exactly, Wayne Gretzky out there dishing the puck off.
I understand, but Lafreniere's not on the ice by himself. He's got,
those guys aren't. Okay, but I gave him a C minus.
Okay, I gave Lafreniere a D.
How dare you?
The lowest grade on the team, by the way. Wow. That was my lowest grade. Alexei Lafreniere, D.
I find that hard to believe because
D isn't do better next year. Do better next year when you're in Montreal.
Well, what do you
playing for Marty St. Louis?
Well, he's getting that bridge deal, right? Or is he getting traded? That's what the thing is. Is Montreal apparently?
I know, a lot of people think he's getting traded. Now, all that being said, everything I've just said about the detriments of his game and his season, I would still like to see him on the team next year because I don't think you give up on a guy who's 22 years old.
Okay.
Not when you're going into rebuild part D.
Part D.
Part D.
Well, I don't even know what you want. What would you want from Montreal if you traded?
Oh, I couldn't even imagine. What value does he have?
Well, I think the French Canadians love him, and he's got the French Canadian name. So
he's from there, and Jeff Gorton's running things up there, right? And that's I don't understand why. I mean, Jeff Gorton drafted him because the ping pong ball came out with the Rangers' name on it, and he was the consensus #1 pick. So it's not like Jeff Gorton went and scouted this guy, fell in love with him, and said, this is the guy we're going to take no matter what. He was the guy, and the Rangers just happened to get the ping pong ball.
Well, here's a question posed by Sean.
Ooh.
And he says, in a cap crunch, and you can have Tarasenko or Lafreniere, what are you doing, Jim?
Well, then I'm taking Tarasenko.
That's what everybody else is saying. And then also I saw I've seen some funny things.
If I can only keep one, based on the rest of the team, yeah, I'm probably keeping Tarasenko because you've got, I mean, how many more peak years do we have for the guys that are under contract that aren't going anywhere? The Panarins, Banajad, Kreider. How many more years of these guys we have in their peak, right? So.
Yes, no, I agree.
All right, next up.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Next up, Christopher Kreider.
Now,
I'll let you go first.
I like to make Patty Duke happy, but Patty, I could not give him an A this year, although it was close. I give him a B, and I'll tell you why I give him a B to a B plus. Is that he really came through even strength this year for the first time that I can remember, and he's always a danger on the power play. Especially we saw that in the playoffs, the limited run we had. I love the guy's attitude. He seems to be more of outspoken than most of these guys. Again, I'm not judging the playoffs. And I know we're getting a little bit of heat because, it doesn't matter. The regular season doesn't matter. But we've got to review the regular season. It did happen. As much as,
If we just review the playoffs, everybody gets an F except Igor, and the show's over in 7 minutes.
Good night, everybody. That's it.
That's it.
I really thought Kreider, the penalty killing, didn't he have 4 or 5 shorthanded goals? The guy has become, and I'll tell you the truth, I didn't think he was going to break 30 this year. And he wound up doing that and some.
Right.
So He
was still able to get 36 goals on the season with a great deal less power play goals. He only had 8 power play goals.
Right.
As opposed to 26 last year.
Right. So I think the Rangers, who desperately need even strength goal scoring, he fit the bill. I think he's a leader. He's right on the cusp of an A. I just couldn't get there with him. I don't know why. Jim, what's your feeling on the thing?
I gave him a B+.
Yeah. That's where I am. I don't find any fault in his game. I wish he'd be a little bit more physical. He can be, but at this stage of his career, I guess it's just not going to happen. But you can't really. There's nobody who can move him from that. At least in this day, in the old days, he'd take cross checks across the back, get him out of the crease, but in front of the net. But now, and him and Mika have such a close bond, and it could be good, it could be shit that they're that close, but
right.
they have great chemistry together. So
that they do.
Okay.
All right. Next up, Patrick Kane. I gave him an H for hurt. Next. That's all I got. That's all I got on Patrick Kane. That was not Patrick Kane. That was not Patrick Kane. I have no grade for him.
Is he Carol Kane?
Carol Kane. It was too late, baby. Now, much too late.
That was Carol King. Carol Kane that was Carol King.
Oh, Carol King. Yeah.
Carol Kane was
Latka's girlfriend on Taxi.
I'm a witch.
Yeah, sorry. Got my Carols confused.
Yeah. If it's too late, baby, it's too late.
But the Carol King joke fit much better.
Yeah, yes, you're right. You're certainly right there. Patty Duke is breaking out the voodoo dolls because we gave her beloved a B+. Well, we can't lie. We cannot lie. Anyway, I don't know what I saw. That was not Patrick Kane.
Right. It just wasn't. So
I just didn't see any chemistry with anybody.
Right.
Nolas Panarin, it just looked like it was some kind of disjointed. Then I saw a couple of times where he gave up on the play, not engaged fully. Here's a guy who won several cups, 3 cups? He looked like he didn't win anything.
And I'm going to blame it on the health, but for a guy that essentially spent a year engineering a trade to the Rangers and talked about how good it felt to put on that jersey. Well, it looked like as soon as the first round was over, he was already talking in his day after press conference saying they have a great team here. They're going to be fine. I mean, he was already separating himself from the Ranger organization. So,
Michael, again, we're talking about the regular season. I know. Listen, I'm still suffering until the Devils are eliminated. I've got this. I'm being weighed down by the disappointment. But we've got to do our due diligence. Also, we got to fill airtime. So that's I'm going to put some programming up. I think my cat just walked by. Anyway, so that's
October 29th at 1 p.m., the New York Giants will take on the New York Jets.
really?
Aaron Rodgers, Daniel Jones, two of the greatest quarterbacks.
Danny
These two
Dimes.
Danny Dimes and Aaron Ayahuasca Rodgers slinging it. 900 yards passing that day for the two.
He thought he was in the dark. He thought he was in that darkness retreat. Wait till he comes to the Jets. Right. He'll fucking go into that black hole.
Giants just officially released their schedule.
Oh, wow. Jets and Giants. That should be exciting.
Yes.
Oh, boy. We're going to have to make some kind of bet. Although I still am so negative on the New York Jets. Everything just turns to shit. So I'm just waiting.
What if
he's going to get hurt or something?
I'll drag Robbie and Adam Bartolo into the bet and make them come on the air in Giants jerseys if the Giants beat the Jets.
That's true.
They're the biggest Giants haters in the world.
Good question from the chat. Who's the home team?
The Giants. The Giants are always the home team.
Well, they shouldn't be. It's named Jet Life Stadium.
It's Giant Stadium.
Jet Life.
Jet Life.
Okay.
During the Rex Ryan years. Anyway.
Okay.
All right. Next up, Capo Caco. Another controversial name here on the report card.
Pasty-faced Finn.
The pasty gangster.
Well, you go first on this one.
I gave him a C-. And I still felt like I was, I like him. I like his game. At times you can see that there is a lot of talent there, but the puck's got to go. The puck's got to go in the net. I mean, we are going to enter year 4 with this guy now. And again, I will reiterate that you don't give up on a guy who's 22 years old. And I understand there were some setbacks, as far as the COVID years is like a lost year for these guys. It's a lost year of development. But he scored 18 goals this year. I gave him a C. C-.
That's consistent. I mean, basically, he had the same amount of points as Lafreniere.
I think his overall game is miles better than Lafreniere.
All
right, maybe not miles, but at least yards.
Yeah, I'm about there. It's 1-1. Update.
Oh, here it comes.
They're raising the
I'm
Stanley
watching
Cup.
on the TNT app here. I guess I'm a little behind.
Jim told me.
There it is. Oh.
Who's in net for the Devil Dogs?
Schmid.
Oh, God, they went back to
Chris Terreri.
Dr. Smith.
Chris Terreri.
Chris Terreri's in net for them?
What was the other guy? Craig Billington, was that his name?
Yes.
Craig Billington. Chico Resch should go for the Devils.
Shakira.
So
Hips
I gave
don't
Capo
lie.
Caco a C-. Again, I'm still hoping. He's only 21, 22 years old. He's going to be playing for his third coach.
Come on. This guy's the second overall pick. We're talking about the first overall pick. You got to be better than your coaches. I don't know. Elaine Chevrier.
Elaine Chevrier. Wow. Very nice.
We have, come on. Mike Smith is going to pull some of the oldies out there. I remember there was a sports channel ad. This is how long ago this ad was. Because the sports channel has been around for like 25 years. But it was like, catch all the stars on Sports Channel. Gretzky, Lemieux, Burke. What? I was like, Sean Burke, you're putting in those two categories? I used to call that guy Sean Burnt. Anyway. So what was I going to say? Yes. I put him in the same category as Lafreniere. They disappear for such long periods of time. You gotta. I like Lafreniere better than Kakko because Lafreniere will hit. Kakko doesn't do anything. He had 8 minutes in penalties. How do you have 4 minors all year? I don't know. When he makes his mind up, Kakko can really be a good guy who can possess the puck. You really can't knock him off. He doesn't do it enough. I'm giving him what did we give Lafreniere? D+?
I gave Lafreniere a D.
I'm giving Kakko a D too.
Okay.
I can't take to him.
Barkley, you just can't get your arms around this guy, huh?
No. He did smile once this year. So.
Barclay Goodrow.
All right. Now I know
I gave him. I'm gonna let you go first. He's your favorite.
He's your favorite. I'm taking some heat because I'm in love with this guy. Well, the bro crush, nothing sexual. Yeah, like breaking story. Me and Barclay Goodrow an item. I mean, why did I have to say that? But anyway,
if you were dipping your toe in the man pond,
in the man pond. Now I know that people are worried about the contract and all this stuff. I don't care. It's all done. They all have no movement clauses. I'm stuck. Yes, as they say, no homo. I like this guy's game. I'm sorry, I gave him a B+. I don't like him down in the lineup. Where he was is exactly where he should be. Now, whether you want to have a guy making that kind of money playing fourth line minutes, that's a different story. But inevitably, he's going to be starting lower down in the lineup. He's known to take the odd bad penalty. He's also one of the few Rangers who will stand up for teammates and fight. He's not a fighter, but he will stick up for teammates, which goes a long way with me because there are a few guys on this team that will do that. And let's face it, that's diminishing all around the NHL. But you got your Trouba, you got your Ryan Lindgren, and then you got your Goodrow. That are guys are going to battle and fight and take on guys who are in a higher class of fighting just to protect the teammate. That goes a long way with me. I have to check. What do you wind up goal total wise? What do you have?
11 goals, 20 assists.
It's not spectacular, but I'm sure it's Listen, I like a guy. I like guys who scrap and who that's it. That's always going to be a part of my fandom.
When the scroll turns red, we've got breaking news.
It's like CNN. Everything is breaking news.
Right.
Breaking news. Wolf Blitzer just farted. It takes up 3/4 of the screen. Anyway, Hey, lady. So that's what I am on Barkley. Where are you? How was he on? Oh no, he's not. Yeah, how was he on faceoffs? Let me check that out.
45.9%.
Not that great.
Sean wants to know if that was you and Barclay Goodrow on the kiss cam at the Knicks game last night.
Yes, it was. We were making out.
I gave Barclay Goodrow a B. Again, I gave the entire fourth line a B. They're fine for what they are. And Barclay Goodrow is a guy, who had on occasion gotten plugged in on the first line, the second line, the third line. It's not where he belongs. Now, all that being said, I gave Barclay Goodrow a B, and I would also vote him one of the players most likely to not be a Ranger next year.
Really?
Yes.
Is it a cap thing? Is it a?
I think he'll be. Yeah, I think when it comes down to money,
why would they sign it to so many years?
I asked that question when they signed him. And everybody told me it's only $3 million. Don't worry about it. What do you care? It's 7 years. It's $3 million.
I think he's gonna.
Barclay Goodrow is our next Adam Graves, I was told.
Oh yes, that was bad. I don't think that person.
He's Adam Graves.
I don't think that person has returned to the show since I said somebody screenshot that. But he certainly is not Adam Graves. I'm not sure he's Peter Graves or any kind of Graves.
By the way, speaking of Graves,
I
had come up in my Facebook memories yesterday was a message from Frankie. Rest in peace, Frankie. We are terribly missed from 7-8 years ago. Now, Frankie used to post just random thoughts on my wall, on my Facebook wall regarding the Rangers. Not in the group, not anywhere else. He would just post them to my wall. And it was this paragraph and a half all about Ryan Graves and how he really thought he was going to be a good player and hoped that the Rangers would bring him up from Hartford at some point.
Wow.
And now, here he is. Now all these years later, here he is playing with the Devils in the second round of the playoffs and pretty successful, right? So, Frankie, wherever you are, you're vindicated.
Yes. The Rangers have a plethora of defensemen. And I'm sure we'll get to the defenseman soon.
Defenseman. In a minute. Yeah, we're almost last forward. Filipino.
He had that really incredible streak where he went nutso, and then he went 20 games without scoring a goal. But he scored over 20 goals.
7 games in a row with a goal, 6 games in a row with a goal.
Something like that.
Right?
And then he was Brandon disappearing, like a lot of these guys were. But I do see, he got over 20 goals. That's really good. Again, I don't do the who, what, and where, when he scored, blowouts, this outs, not whatever. You score in this league. There's no slam dunks.
5 straight games.
Okay, 5 straight games, and then nothing. But I see something in Hedl. He's got that extra step where he can actually get ahead of an opponent. And I like it. The problem with this guy is he can't finish. That's why he isn't better than he is. He misses a lot of wide open nets. It's a lot of posts. He just doesn't have the hands to be a 30, 35 goal scorer. But I'll take it. If he can be 22, 25, that's fine for me. What's going to happen is once the Rangers 3 years down the road lose all these guys, we're expected that the Hedl, Kakko, and Lafreniere move up.
Right.
That's when you're going to have a problem. Right. Unless they mature. They're still young. But as the great Mandar once said, just because you're young doesn't mean you're good. All right? You could stink. You could be Emerson Edom. I don't care if you're 21. You could be a bum.
Right.
And the Devils have gone up 2-1 now.
I gave Hedl a B+. I feel like he is improving every year. Yeah, there it is, 2-1. I can't really complain. Yeah, I know he disappeared for a while during the season, but they all do at some point. So I gave him a B+.
Yeah, I'm right with you. I'm going to give him a B.
I think he took the step, at least he took the step we expected after the playoffs last year.
Right. I would agree with you there. Again, he's a dude that if I can get 25 goals out of him every year, I'm happy. I'm happy with that. I don't think Jess Rubenstein is in his right mind at this point. I think he was opposed to the Gallant firing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know what these.
I don't even see him anywhere anymore. I don't.
I think I'm Facebook friends with him, and I don't
see him on Twitter. I don't see him on Facebook. I don't know if he unfriended me or what, but I never see him anymore. I wasn't even sure. I know he had some health problems for a long time.
Well.
Anyway, now we are moving on to the defenseman.
Defenseman.
Defenseman. Still always makes me laugh.
I don't know.
First up, Jacob Trouba, Captain Jacob Trouba.
All right, this is a controversial one. We know we got some fans out there. Horrible start, Jim. About as bad as you could get. Up in the Ranger ether. This guy isn't a captain. This guy it's another Brian Leach type of captain. Not really captain material. Mutiny on the Bounty. Why? Kreider should be the cat. All that shit. But after the helmet tossing, the helmet game, his whole season turned around.
Right.
And he wound up, I thought, having a good year. But he was so bad for the first quarter of the season, it really tainted my grade for him. He also was saddled with playing with a guy that I thought had the worst season on the Rangers and really fell off a cliff. So I'm going to moderate his grade. I was going to give him a C, but I'm going to give him a B-.
Okay.
His offensive stats weren't bad, but I feel like he should be scoring more. But again, the power play time is just not there for him because of playing Panarin on the point and Fox, which does make sense. And Gallant was predominantly playing, the hell out of that first unit and not really splitting the units. So, and that was Gallant's mantra while he was here. He played to win every game. He really didn't care about developing or whatever. I mean, that was
strategy. Or
motivation,
or
not much of anything.
To do that, right? All he did was keep the pucks frozen.
I will tell you one thing about Gallant that I did like. He did bark at the refs in game, and he worked the refs pretty good.
Yeah,
he did. If there was he would work the refs, but other than that, I don't know what he did. He didn't
work his team.
No, he didn't work his team. He looked at the iPad, whatever, and then scream at the refs for 5 minutes. Maybe the Rangers get a makeup call. Because I've seen coaches don't do anything. I don't know if it was Vigneault. Would never yell at the refs. You got to work those refs. But other than that, I don't think he knew who was on the team.
All right, I'm going to give you my Trouba grade, and I'm going to tell you why I gave Trouba my grade, and then I'm going to ask you a question before we do the rest of the defensemen and the goaltenders. I gave Trouba an A. I'm discounting the early part of the season. He wasn't healthy. He was admittedly not healthy. I think he is a guy, from what I see and from what I see from the players, I think he's a solid captain. I think the players look up to him. I think he leads by example on and off the ice. If you need a big hit, Jacob Trouba is the guy that's going to deliver it. The team looks up to him. And again, like Eddie said, he was saddled with the lowest grade defenseman on the team, who we'll get to in a couple minutes. Now, my question for you, Eddie, is of all the coaches behind the benches in the NHL right now, if you could have your pick of any coach in the league, who would you take to coach the New York Rangers, to be behind the bench for the New York Rangers next year? Who would you take? You could have any coach in the league.
Wow. Toughie. Probably, I'm going to take a lot of heat for this one. But I think Lane Lambert. No, I'm only kidding. Well, I really like who's coaching the Canes. But the Rangers would have to. I feel like Rod Brindamore is a smart coach. He's an X's and O's guy. I don't know if the Rangers have the team. You have to understand, the Canes are playing with like 3 or 4 of their fucking stars out. And they're still thriving.
And shaky goaltending.
Their goaltending stinks. But would the Rangers be able to play the style that he wants? I think they would. I mean, I like the guy. I do. I've seen enough of him live and in person to see he knows what he's fucking doing. I guess by their regular season, this guy Montgomery with the Bruins, although I don't know exactly his style.
He would be my second or third choice. Brindamore would absolutely be my first choice. And
really?
Then absolutely. Absolutely. And then maybe Bruce Cassidy. I think he's a pretty good coach. I think he's a pretty good coach too. He might be my second choice. Hold on. I forgot about John Cooper.
He's another one. I'd put him.
John Cooper might be number 2 behind Brindamore. Scratch what I said. John Cooper would be second.
Okay. I'm seeing Brindamore's.
It would be nice to see somebody as smug as John Cooper on our side for a change. Very true, Andrew. We were close to hiring Montgomery before he took the Dallas job.
Oh, somebody said towards the cloud. They were joking around.
Will Torch survive the Keith Jones regime?
Is that official yet?
That's official. Yeah.
That is official.
Jonesy. If it gets him off the broadcasts, I'm all for it.
That's what everybody says. I just kept reading. He's terrible. He hates the Canes. He hates the Canes. I go, is this a universal thing that everybody thinks these announcers are against their teams? Is it just maybe? I don't know.
Well, he couldn't possibly hate the Canes because everybody knows all the announcers hate the Rangers.
I don't know.
All right. Next up, number 4. Braden Schneider.
I'm giving Braden my wife feels A+ because she's in love with that young man. I'm going to give Brendan a B-. I liked his playoff. One of the few bright spots was watching him hit and contribute a goal. But this is based on the regular season. Yeah, I know he's a third-line pairing guy, but you can't go 40 games without scoring a goal. I'm sorry. Whatever he went. But with that said, this guy has leadership skills. He really has the potential to move up a spot. I would love to see the Rangers possibly move on from Keandre Miller and him move up. I don't know the right lefty thing. I don't know the fucking difference. I think he's a lefty, isn't he, Schneider? And I think Miller's also a lefty. I think he would have no problem playing minutes. Like I always see Trouba on, I don't know. Love Schneider. I think he's got some good pedigree.
Schneider is a righty.
Okay, so
Trouba is a righty.
Okay.
And Fox, right? Yes,
Fox.
Those are your three righties.
And I have to say that I'm really high on him. On a team that wouldn't have as much depth on defense as the Rangers, he'd definitely be a second pairing. Could possibly be a first pair. He's developing nicely. And he's had to adjust to different guys playing alongside him. Every year it starts off with like the rookie the experiment. 2 years ago was Niels Lundqvist. This year it was Zach Jones. They move on from that. He was, we're using this word a lot today, saddled with Patrick Nemeth 2 years ago. He survived that mess. This year he played with Ben Harper, who was pretty good. And then surprisingly, Nico Mikkola, he played decently with him at the end of the season once they survived the Ryan Lindgren injuries. So he's shown adaptability. I think he's got a good shot. I think he's defensively smart. And right now, everything's going as planned for Braden as far as I'm concerned.
I
Just
agree.
need a little more scoring.
I gave him a B. I feel like from the minute he was called up, he's looked like he belonged. He never looked like the game was too big for him. I think he's only getting better. He delivers the big hit when they need it. Skates fairly well, I think. And I like him.
And I see a lot of people talking about Miller, and I agree with you, Tom. I want to give Miller more time to rectify this nonsense that he threw out on the ice last year. I also agree with Andrew. I like to see Schneider and Robertson. I don't know if they're going to have the money to sign Mikkola. So I don't know how that's going to work out. I know Robertson is itching, and I think to play for the Rangers. He wants his shot. I mean, just by the little banter I had with him at the Wolfpack game. He's like, maybe one day, it's like he wants to play. So give him a shot. You gave all these other guys a shot. Give him a shot at the beginning of the season.
I think he should be given every opportunity to make the team next year. And if Chris Knobloch does wind up as the head coach, well, that just increases his chances.
Well, I know all these talking heads on these other podcasts are saying there's no way it's going to come from Knobloch. The Rangers don't promote from within, and they're a win now team. They don't want to go.
Chris Drury was promoted from within.
Wow, that's a different thing. You spend some nights in Banff with Glenn and drinking those goblets of Chardonnay, and things get a little close.
I wouldn't know about that.
I wouldn't know about that either. But
I was never invited.
Yes. But typically, what we say, since Larry Popine, the Rangers haven't hired a coach from within.
Right.
Was it 1973?
I think so, yeah. 73 sounds right.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I feel like he's not the guy. And again, I'm not going to – at this point, I'm so lost with this team. I don't know what would work and what wouldn't work. And
right. If you're giving me choices of all these retreads, Laviolette and all the other Sutter and who's the other name out there? These guys like that. If you give me a choice, go with Knobloch.
But is that because you're just so frustrated, the same old? You're just like, you just want some new. I mean, they tried that with Quinn. And although we weren't as harsh on Quinn as most of the fans were.
Yeah. I don't know. I think this fan base over exaggerates. David Quinn. Okay, we didn't get the results they expected, but he didn't exactly have the most fair of terms either with this team. I mean, he had to coach this team through a fucking pandemic, trying to start trying to get a team going of 20 to 24-year-olds in a pandemic. I'm not saying he's the greatest coach in the world, and we let Lester Patrick walk out the door. I'm just saying, again, we have seen far worse coaches than David Quinn. I'd be fine with Knobloch. I'd rather have him than Peter Laviolette or Daryl fucking Sutter.
Sam the Eagle. Sorry. Okay.
Sam the Eagle.
Sam the Eagle, or Salazzo, as I call Laviolette. He looks like Salazzo from The Godfather with his hair slicked back.
Oh, who's another name that was going around? I don't know if it was from Larry.
Mark Messier?
Well, yeah, of course, Messier. He's gonna come up until the end of time every time there's a fucking coaching vacancy in New York. If Mark Messier didn't get the job 5, 10 years ago, 15, why would anybody think he's going to get the job now?
Didn't he wear the
There's less attachment to Mark Messier every year.
Bates Battaglia was a pimp. It's funny, when I was doing my bid at the Fairweather Center in Carolina, I saw a girl with a Bates Battaglia jersey.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. If Messier didn't take out PK Subban with a punch during that ridiculous exchange, then I don't want him. He's not got right. He's lost his senses.
So,
anyway, you want an X's and O's guy? You think that guy's an X's and O's guy?
Who? Chris Knobloch?
No, Mark Messier.
Oh, Messier? Yeah, I don't know.
And who's the other guy you're saying that's being tossed around?
Sutter. Oh, the other name. Oh, you're gonna love this one, Jack Capuano.
Get the fuck out of here.
His name's being mentioned because he's got connections to Drury.
Oh, Captain Jack will get you high tonight.
What'd you just call him? Fat guy in a little coat?
Fat guy, little coat. Like Fred Flintstone, that fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Nah, no Flintstone. Sorry. Jack Capuano. You want to get me hot?
All right. Next up, the aforementioned Keandre Miller. I gave Keandre Miller a C. I thought for about the last 3 months of the season, including the spitting incident, he was abysmal. Absolutely abysmal.
How could you give him a C then?
He is just a tall guy with long arms and a long stick.
Is he athletic?
He's athletic, Sam. I gave him a C, and I thought I might have even been a little generous.
And the Canes have tied it, Jim.
The Canes have tied it. The Never Say Die Canes. The storm surge is back.
That's
the
right.
fans that were streaming for the exits have returned. The fans are now running back in from the parking lots, Eddie. They had left. They were down 2-1 headed to the third.
Hey, you see that video of the Devil? See the video of the Devils fans leaving?
Yes.
That reminded me exactly what I saw in Carolina last year.
Yes. So where are you on Keandre Miller?
This is surprising because I thought you were going to obliterate him. I mean,
I said he was abysmal.
But abysmal for a defenseman, how do you get a C? Abysmal's a D. It's an F. His only saving grace of this season was his stats offensively. Got better. But he forgot the other part of the game, which is crucial for a defenseman.
Right.
Playing defense. I give him a D. I'm lower than you, and I'm his biggest fan. You cannot play and be dumb and be just out of position. I saw a lot of that this year. Very disappointed. And you know what? You're going to hear, and I watched some of these other podcasts, that New York Post podcast with the aging, the Benjamin Button of fucking hockey writing, dancing Larry Brooks, saying, oh, you got to sign Keandre Miller. Had a great season, and he's coming up with a contract. And I'm like, Larry, do you ever leave the locker room and watch the games? Because this guy was sticking the ice, the joint up almost every other game. The spitting thing, he doesn't remember. He didn't mean it. I don't know how. You got to come up with, I just spit all the time. I don't understand. It was I was befuddled and bemused at the same time. And I haven't used that since a Ranger Crisis video like 10 years ago. I give him a D. I hope he gets better. I think he will. But if he doesn't, sell him, sign him and sell him while he's still got the rep. You're playing with Jacob Trouba. It's not like Jacob Trouba he's going from one end to the other end and leaving you out to lunch. No. Trouba's a steady defenseman, probably the best hitting defenseman in the league. I mean, I'd like to see Keandre also up the physical game. He's big enough. There was that one point in the playoffs, I forgot what guy was, took liberties with Shesterkin. Who was that? And Miller wound up getting 2 minutes for roughing in the corner.
Well, yeah, because Miller the
He
guy
was
slid
going
into
this,
the boards.
Right.
The
The
Roosevelt.
against the board.
The Roosevelt shopping cart.
Yeah.
The Michael Roosevelt shopping cart.
No good. No
There's
dice.
one we haven't. There's one I'm bringing out of the archives.
Oh, wow. I don't even remember you saying
shopping
that.
cart.
The shopping cart?
Michael Roosevelt.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
Heishier.
Nico
Thank you, Sean.
Heishier. Yeah. That to me, what is that? Tap, 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 tap. Boom! The Rangers weren't going anywhere. They're running Shesterkin. Their only chance of
Put your stick down and go get the guy.
right.
Put your stick down.
Start wailing on the guy.
Right.
You got to send
Taparoo.
this guy is the best goalie in the world, and these guys are taking liberties. Get the fuck out of here. He's out. If I were Gord Murphy and I'm still with the team next year, he's the only assistant who hasn't been fired. I'd say, listen, anybody touches a goal, you fight him. You fight him. What's the regular season mean anyway?
Right.
Anybody worried about losing the game? Everybody makes the playoffs in this league unless you're fucking ridiculously bad. So, I don't know.
Sean, I used to watch Roosevelt do it all the time. That's all I could think of was it looks like he's pushing a shopping cart.
I like when Del Zotto used to try to body check. It was like he was groping the guy. So,
well,
and then he was wound up groping porn stars as well.
Right. He liked his prostitutes.
Constituents.
Anyway,
so that's where we are, Keandre Miller. I think he can improve, but I think mentally he was fucking checked out this year.
Yes.
And that's the weakest part of his game is mentally. So if he's checked out, it's abysmal, as you said.
Right. Next up, Mikko Mikkola. I gave him a B.
I did not want to like this guy.
You didn't like him from the start.
No,
I wasn't crazy about him
like
after a couple of games either, but he grew on me, actually. I still think he's another big guy that doesn't play physical.
Right, but that's par for the course. I mean,
Nico Huber.
They got him as a throw-in.
Right.
Okay. You know, what I read from the St. Louis fans was not good. I thought he was just the dumb lummox that's going to go out there. Buh. And you know me, I was kind of creaming in my jeans over Ben Harper. I liked Ben Harper a lot. I still like Ben Harper a lot. And I'm glad he's going to be around, I think, for another year, at least in the organization.
Long term.
Long term.
He signed long term, and then he'll move into a front office job. Director of player personnel.
But I tell you, from a guy, I mean, he came in, and although Fox's numbers went down, he was a very solid replacement for Lindgren. He handled that increased minutes like a pro.
Right. Yes, he did.
He's also one of the few Ranger defensemen that would actually rush up the ice. Not rush, because he really can't rush, but he would invade the other team's offensive zone. He has a terrible shot. His slap shot is like, it's either 100 feet wide or right into another player. But that notwithstanding, he's got a little bit of gumption. I like that. Take charge. Take charge. He was fairly decent in his own net, in his own zone. He was better than fairly decent. He was pretty good, I thought. I wanted to find. Now, I know people who I'm close with who fucking think this guy stinks. I don't know why. Maybe because he's got the Willie Uber complex. You know, he's 6'5". You know, at least hit somebody, please. Is he finished, by the way, Mikola? He might be. He might be one of those.
I think so, right?
Pasty face fit. Mark Hardy.
Yes, finish.
Okay. Another Finn. Would I mind having him around next year? No.
Finns are very stoic, by the way. They're very stoic.
Yeah,
people.
they're very stoic people. Thank you for your service.
Not a lot to get excited about in Finland, I guess.
I guess, right? Like, what, look at that Finlandia cheese or whatever they got over there.
Yeah.
John says, thank you for your service, Miko.
Yeah, I mean, I don't expect him back. He was fine. He was a fine fill-in. I think somebody compared. Oh, Andrew compared to Justin Braun too. That's a good way of putting it.
He was better than Justin Braun. I think. He was better.
But a solid fill-in.
Yes,
a solid guy who wasn't on the roster at the beginning of the season and turned out to be a pretty important part in our march to the first round exit.
Yes, I mean, he was part of that whole parade.
Right. Next up, Ryan Lindgren. I gave Ryan Lindgren an A+.
No,
sorry. This is the toughest.
This bias.
This is how is it biased?
Because your significant other loves Ryan Lindgren.
Absolutely nothing to do with it.
This guy an A+.
Absolutely nothing to do with it. How could I not give that? This guy is the toughest motherfucker on the team.
Who cares?
Solid defenseman. He's Fox's partner.
Okay, A+, solid.
A+, toughest guy on the team.
Ryan Graves, I give him an A+.
How many times is this guy gonna get shot in the face?
Oh,
and he misses a shift.
He's the most overrated Ranger, just because of his heart. That's it. Okay. He plays with Adam Fox. How is he not? Nico Mikkola was serviceable with Fox. He doesn't deserve an A+. Okay. I'm just saying he doesn't score a lot. He plays first defense. It's like 40 games between goals with this guy. I can't give him an A+.
Score goals.
Well, I don't understand. You can't have anybody that chips in. It's got to be an offensive and a defensive guy. I give Ryan Lindgren deserves a B. Does not deserve an A+. That's all I'm saying. I don't hold him in. Did the Rangers really suffer while he was out? Not really.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sorry, folks. I think the guy is, I like Lindgren much better than the Garden of Dreams kids. But those kids got to stop getting our money. We should be getting the money. They should be giving us sticks for free for following this team.
I give him an A+. It's the heart and soul of the team.
A lot of people are agreeing with me, which means that there's only one person agreeing with me. But
it's not my fault they're all wrong. Heart and soul of the team.
Oh,
if not for Jacob Trouba, he's the captain.
Everybody's the captain to you. Kreider should be the captain. This guy.
I never said Kreider should be the captain. I never said that. At least I don't think I did.
I don't know. Who knows what
Maybe
we
I had
said.
an edible.
No, that's me.
Maybe I had an Ambien that night.
I just can't give the guy an A+. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
But I understand, but I think you are a little bit swayed by the love in your household for him.
I'm not swayed at all.
You would yes, I agree with
said
you, Sean.
before Trouba was made captain, Ryan Lindgren was my first choice for captain. I want a guy I could go to war with.
Yeah, but how? We went to war. What happened?
No, that wasn't the war. That was the USA against Grenada. That's about how that was.
The skirmish? What was
Yeah,
it? A tussle?
Well, we're gonna blame the first round exit on Ryan Lindgren?
No, but I'm saying you want a guy, you got him, and then you see it doesn't matter. Although he scored a nice goal in that series. Let's not forget that. But can't give him an A+.
All right, that's fine. I don't know. It's fine.
And I agree with Sean. Take Panarin, strip that A from him and give it to Lindgren.
Absolutely.
That is 100% correct. That guy, that A stands for asshole with Panarin.
Anomaly.
Yeah. What are you going to do? Assist on another team's goal.
The captain should get the team together in the next season before the season starts and let the team vote on secretly who should be the A's.
Definitely.
Secret ballot. No way Panarin wins that vote. No way. No way is that. Come on. No way is that guy a leader on the ice. Come on.
Patrick Kane, who won't be with the team, will probably be. They all love Patrick Kane. Oh, he's our hero.
Oh, he's my favorite player growing up, Joe.
Oh, yeah. Is he still? If he mailed it into the playoffs playing hurt? Anyway.
All right. Next up, Ben Harper. I gave Big Ben a B.
Big Ben gets a B from me. He kept it simple. He kept it safe. I don't remember him making a glaring faux pas in his own zone the whole year, his limited time. And for a guy who was on a tryout, I don't know how they found this guy.
He's playing the Eskimo League with Theo Fleury.
Yeah, I mean, this guy came from nowhere. And he filled his role, as we said, based on roles and the cheapness of the guy. I mean, the guy is dirt cheap. I'm with you, Brett. I do like him over Mikkola, and you probably may see that since I don't think Mikkola is going to be back next year. Yes, Ben doesn't get no respect. And from what I hear from Danielle Stewart, one of the nicest guys you ever want to meet. But those guys always are, like the guys who are like
Hockey
fringe
players usually are.
Hockey players in general, but a guy who's like not used to that kind of, casino night, and he's in New York City.
Right. Plus, he was new to the team, when they did casino night. He was like brand new, right? He had just gotten here. I've only, out of all the hockey players I've ever met, I've only met one that was less than pleasant. Jell Samuelson.
Really?
Yes.
Was it a language thing? Because I know he had problems with the language when he first came over.
I don't know. He just looked very annoyed.
Really? Well, that was the same
that I was even approaching him.
When I met Bookaboom, after he had retired.
Right.
He was at like a viewing party, and he didn't want anything to do with the fans.
Really?
He parked himself in the corner, and you had to kind of approach him. And
that's surprising.
Yeah, he was very serious. He was a serious dude. I don't know if he had been texting with Glenn, let's get my son a tryout so he can get paid $1 million and get.
The one night that Jen and I went to, and we waited out where the players came, which I'll never do again. They were all very nice. I mean, D'Angelo, Hedel, Lindgren, Fox. They were all really, really very nice. Ryan Strome. They were all very nice. And other players I've met over the years, Greshner, when I met him in person, very nice. Even Kotze was nice. Nick Fatiou. You know, those guys, they're all really good guys.
Yeah. I mean,
anyway,
the salt of the
they're
earth.
just cut differently. Hockey players are just cut differently because they grow up differently than other athletes. You know, baseball players and football players, they don't, you know, these guys are entitled and sheltered, you know, from the time they get to, you know, once they get to 16, 17, and, you know,
they have
hockey players are 16 and 17 and still sleeping on people's floors, traveling across country, you know?
Oh, okay. Well, Sean said he's met Boom and he's had good interactions with him. I don't know. I did talk to him, and you know he was nice, but maybe he's having a bad day. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe.
Man, we're all entitled to that. I'm trying to think anybody else that really was a dick. I mean, the only guy I met was a real dick, believe it or not, and this is going way back, like 40 years ago, was Dave Schultz.
Gee, go figure.
Yeah, go figure. He goes, I said, Dave, I want to ask you a question. He goes, I was wearing a Rangers hat, and he said, I don't speak to Ranger fans. Is that the Bill Chadwick show, as a matter of fact?
Jim,
The
this
Hammer.
guy, not one of your better people, Jim.
He doesn't
Get
like
this
Gike.
guy off my show, Jim.
He doesn't like Gike. Get him out of here.
I ain't got anybody not like any guy. He's salt of the earth, Jim.
Look at this kid. I like the cut of his jib. He's wearing a Rangers hat. Give him a break, Dave.
Anyway, last defenseman, Eddie, Adam Fox.
Adam Fox. I give this guy an A. A plus. I mean, what did he wind up having? 60, 70 assists. His playoff, although he did have a lot of his playoff.
72 points. 12 goals, 60 assists.
I made comparisons of him during the season, like almost Brian Leach-like. And he really makes everything go. If I was an opposing coach, I would make sure that Adam Fox is priority number one when you're on the penalty kill. Because really, if you could neutralize him, that power play isn't half as good. Just a tremendous. I'm going A+ all the way now. Just a fantastic player to watch. You know, and he's not a liability defensively, which, you know, it makes him all that much better. You know, I can't say enough good things about that guy. I mean, I hate to agree with Joe Micheletti, who's wetting his pants every time he's out there, but it's true. He's that worthy of wetting your pants. He's just so fantastic.
I just wet my pants just now.
Right. I mean,
I just did.
You can't stop. Look, I'm still doing it now. Look, he's getting the towels out.
Getting out the towels. I gave Adam Fox an A. I think that Adam Fox is the second most talented defenseman to play for the Rangers in my lifetime, behind James Patrick
and Matthew Schneider
and Rayo Ruotsalainen, Sexy Rexy. A little too cute at times. A little. He gets a little. You know, he gets a little Panarin in him at times. A little too cute. But
okay,
I'm still thrilled that he's here. I still, he's a great player, and
I think that might be a component of the people he plays with.
Could be. It's infectious.
None
of them want to shoot the goddamn puck.
Sabinajan
They don't want to get on Sports Center.
Fancy play. Yeah, exactly. Highlight real goals. That's
right.
That's what they're looking for every fucking time. If they can get a coach in here that could stop that, that's my coach.
Right. Right.
I don't care if he's, Joey Lavelle from Brunswick. Whoever could come in here, Joey Lavelle. That's my number one coach.
Every coach since Ted Sater has promised me North-South hockey, and I'm still waiting for the delivery.
Right. I don't care if it's Cutter that's named as coach. I don't know if Costa gets through and somehow passes the test. All these guys, if they can get the Rangers to shoot the puck instead of pass it, and then it's blocked. I'm done with this mess.
Pucks on net. Stop passing. Everybody gets blue line cute. All right, now we're on to the goaltenders. Igor. We'll start with Igor.
Igor gets an A. I mean,
absolutely.
He wasn't the Igor that he was the year before. I'm not exactly buying the excuse that was either translated, that he said he felt a lot of pressure to repeat. I think it was that fucking kid. Now that kid, hopefully, they got a nanny for the kid, so he straightened out, just like when you predicted when he would straighten out.
Who do you hate more, Ryan Lindgren or Igor's kid?
Igor's kid, for shit, sure. Igor, you got enough money now. You're making the good fish nagels here. Get one of these.
Hire an au pair.
Hire an au pair, one of these Russian au pairs. You can make the kid borscht or whatever they eat. And then you fucking, you get a driver, too. We want no Pavel Buchnevich fucking incidences anymore with the fucking.
Right.
Oh, by the way, we could use a right wing. Where's Pavel? Oh, we traded him for Sammy Blais. Okay. Anyway, I digress. Igor is magnificent. Bow down to the Tsar. I mean, that's it.
Last but not least,
Adam Huska.
Yaroslav Halak.
Who
we were all ready to burn at the stake 2 months into the season.
4 or 5. He was like 0-5 or something, 0-6, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
They wanted to fucking run him out. It's over.
We all did.
I know. 38 years old. What else could he have done? I mean, there was some games where he was really, really good. I mean, I thought the alternatives to him were horrible. And he is certainly, he earned his paycheck. He did well. I give him a B. I mean, what else you got to do?
That's where I am. A B.
I mean, he wasn't, wasn't an automatic win when he played, but I mean, I didn't feel, holy shit. Oh my God, we got to start. I don't even know. Who's our third string goalie there? I don't even know our third string
Louis
goalie.
Domingue.
Oh, Louis Domingue, yes.
Right.
Spicy pork. Like
right.
him, then I worry.
I mean, the way I look at it for Halak, he won more games than he lost, and most nights he kept the other team under 3 goals, and with this offense, that should be enough. So I give him a B.
The Rangers' defense as a whole, if you look at the goals against, they're like in the top 5. Their problem is scoring 5-on-5. That's their I think their most flawed thing is the 5-on-5 play. They don't score enough. I mean, I'm not doing a team summation here, but we all know what the problems are here.
Right.
Yes. And so that's all I got. I mean, look, I wrote down.
By the way, we didn't mention when we talked about just the team in general, that they did let the assistant coaches go, with the exception of Gordon Murphy, right?
Right. Mike the cop.
Mike
gone.
Officer Mike. Off he goes.
I mean, and I'm sure that when the new coach is hired, when Joe Lavelle from Brunswick is hired, he will get rid of. I don't know. I've seen
Mr. Botchagaloop.
Mr. Botchagaloop. And what was it? Stinky?
Yes. Stinky Wisconsin.
Joe Bessa.
Last year when Jen and I took our trip to Florida, we stayed at this place in Isla Mirada, and the hotel. It was even in the reviews that there were a bunch of stray cats that lived at this. They lived on the property, and they kept the iguanas away, and so they let them live there, and they were all very friendly. One of them kept coming in our room. He would follow me everywhere, and I kept calling him Mr. Bachikaloop. And Jen just thought that was the funniest thing. And every time we'd leave the door open and a cat would walk in the room, and I'd just say, Mr. Bachikaloop.
Oh yeah, he was a great character. And he was
Mr. Bachikaloop.
He'd lose his mind talking to Lou Costello there.
Yeah.
All right, they're calling for Drury and Gallant grades. Well, I'll just go first. I think Drury did a great job. I went into this playoff saying this is the best team on paper that I've ever seen go into the playoffs. I thought he made the right moves. It didn't work out. We find out that Kane was hurt. That certainly is a detractor to the whole thing. I have no problem with Chris Drury right now. So I'm giving him a B. Gerard Gallant, again, as a results-oriented fan, they were one of the better teams in the league. Not one of the better, but they were certainly in the mix. They were right behind the Devils. But I never saw Gerard Gallant. I just didn't know what he did, and I felt like he was bad at adjustments. I give him a C. I felt like the players were basically playing, and I thought, we said it night after night. Where are the adjustments? What does he do?
Right.
And I hated his press conferences. I hated them. So I give him a C.
Okay, so you gave Drury an A and Gallant a C?
I gave Drury, I think, a B.
Okay. So my thinking on Drury is this. If you have told me back in October that the Rangers would go into the playoffs with Vladimir Tarasenko and Patrick Kane on the roster and that it would not cost them any real assets, then I would say right then and there that if Chris Drury does that, he gets an A. So that being said, those things not working out, I can't blame that on Chris Drury. Where I'll give Chris Drury a bit of a knock is that if the rumors are true, from what we've heard, that there were problems with the coach, and in mid-season, in December, that there were disagreements and there were problems, and that the Rangers were even looking around to see who might be available. And Drury decided to stay with the coach, and it didn't work out. That he's got to take a bit of a knock for that. So I'm going to take him from an A to a B+. He's got to take a hit for that because this coach is on his this is on his watch too. But I mean, you tell me in October that Vladimir Tarasenko was going to be a Ranger when only Eddie knew it. Eddie knew it. Eddie told you way back when. Remember Goodfellas? Jimmy will tell you. Well, Eddie will tell you.
I'll tell you.
Eddie will tell you.
Well,
so I give him a B+. Gallant, I'm not even going to grade Gallant. He's not here anymore. He's not our problem, and I didn't want him here in the first place. So I just wasn't a fan of him. From the get-go, I didn't like the hire, and they had a terrific run last year, but I just didn't. I just didn't see it when they were in that slump in December and just playing such god-awful hockey. I said it more than a few times. Fire this guy. They didn't do it, and it didn't work out. So, I win the white carnation, but I don't want it.
Right.
I want to win a cup. I want to win a cup before I die. That's what I want.
Yes. And I think also with that whole Drury thing with Kane, how that dragged out, and then we after all that we get a hurt Patrick Kane. That's a detractor on Drury too, I think.
Yeah.
Do they have physicals? Does it again?
Yeah.
Like you said in the past, we got 300 hospitals within a 5-mile radius of MSG, and they can't
Right.
figure out this guy's hip is shot. Phenomenal. No, Kravtsov is gone. He's a distant memory. Give him a cue for quit.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this question. I'm actually advocating. I guess in a way, I'm advocating Chris Drury here. Day before that trade is made, if somebody says to you, "Got a chance to get Patrick Kane, not going to cost you much in money or assets," he may not be completely healthy. He's 60% healthy. He's 75% healthy. Are you still taking the gamble?
Yes,
Probably.
take the gamble.
Probably.
But once you see on ice what he's doing, and this may have been what the whole rift between Gallant, maybe Drury's saying you got to play Kane, but Gallant's saying, well, no, I want to put in, one of the black aces in, whether it be Brodzinski or somebody like that. But Drury's saying, no, we got Kane. He's got the experience. We dealt assets to get him. He plays. So.
Sean, I'll answer your question by saying I can't answer that question right now. Let me see what they do. Because we're going to go through another coaching change. Obviously, and no matter what you think of Gallant, obviously something wasn't working between GM and coach. And obviously, with what went on with the players, the exit interviews, the Rangers had gone as far as they were going to go with Gerard Gallant. Next year wasn't going to be some magical turnaround. He wasn't going to pull a Tom Coughlin and all of a sudden completely change his style and the way he dealt with players. So I don't know. I don't know. Right now, I'm just, I'm so just this. It just took a lot out of me. Losing to the Devils, losing in 7 games, the way they played Game 7. Talk to me in October. Ask me again in October.
I think I'll be excited. I'm always excited. The bar is low for me. I don't follow any other sports really that closely.
The bar is low.
It's low,
How sad is that?
Well, I love hockey, so when hockey season comes around, I'll be like, oh, will I make a preseason evaluation of the coach? No, I wait, and then you look and you see, and you see if there's any change.
Plenty of words, Newman. I just don't want to express them.
Yeah, and also this season is so disappointing that you're starting all the way back. It's like in one of those board games, you go back to start,
Right.
And
you're climbing the ladder, and then all of a sudden you roll a 2 and you go down to shoot, and you're right back at the beginning.
Fucking mousetrap.
This team's just one big poop shoot.
Yeah, exactly. So,
second winningest coach all time, whatever, winning record, winning percentage, all that doesn't mean anything.
And we got to go through 82 games. Just enjoy it. Only good thing I could say is try to enjoy the hockey and don't expect anything. Just they're playing well in the regular season. They're playing well.
The bar is low.
The bar is very low.
I like that.
And I love hockey. I'm going to watch it no matter what. I'm going to yell and scream, though I think I told you I got 2 years left. I'm out of here. So they better win.
We're just getting started.
What?
We're just getting warmed up. Come on, we got 450 episodes in the can.
Oh, yeah.
30,000 downloads now just on Podbean. Come on.
It's amazing.
We're just getting warmed up. We got all kinds of new people saying, oh, I just found you guys.
Well, they'll be around 2 years. Everybody will leave because there still will be fucking the biggest turd floating in the toilet.
We got to at least outlast Sam and Joe.
That's funny.
Seattle and Florida in the Stanley Cup final would be a ratings bonanza in Miami and Seattle.
I don't know. People always worry about these things. I don't care. I don't care.
I don't care. I just think it's funny.
Seattle's got a pretty rabid fan base. I mean,
They do, but it's not a national.
it's not like the Dallas Cowboys and the Giants going at it or something, but not a ratings bonanza. But who watches fucking hockey anyway? Nobody.
Because it's a garage league.
Yeah, well, it is. Certainly is. Well, that's all I have, Robin.
Me too. So I guess I don't know. We'll come back next week, maybe at some point if there's anything to talk about.
Yeah,
I'm sure we'll find something. But who knows? And then we'll be around. We'll be around on and off over the summer.
Definitely. I'm
It's
sure
going to be a busy summer in our house, but we'll always find time.
Yeah, if Larry Brooks prints something that Elliot Friedman said and then takes credit, we'll be back with some to regurgitate that news and break it as our own.
Besides, we need to give Larry material, so we come on do the show, and then Larry writes his articles.
Yes, and we also got to do like some of these podcasts that are up, dude. They have this one that's got an automated voice. It's like the Rangers have fired Gerard Gallant. It's terrible. I don't know what the people are thinking. And I've also been. I won't talk. I'll get ripped for this. So, but anyway,
what?
No. I actually was watching an Islander podcast.
Oh,
because I wanted to rip on.
You told me. Oh yeah, you told me about this.
Yeah. And it actually was not, it was fairly lucid, except this one guy is doing an act. He's doing shtick the whole thing. It's almost like the mouth, but he's not the mouth. He's just his name is the Grumpy Old Man.
Oh.
And he's just always grumpy. He's doing shtick.
That's original.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's fucking 60. Of course he's a grumpy old man. So am I. All right.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
He gives
no way to go but down. Thank you so much. I give all you an A for participating.
Absolutely. And by the way, next month, late June, we will celebrate our 14th year.
Wow.
Our 14th anniversary. And then year 15 begins with a new coach.
Where are the Rangers picking in the draft? Do we know?
Oh, Christ.
Come on. I want to get to the draft. They always pan out these draft picks. People will be getting all excited. Everyone's going to get excited about Will Cooley and Brennan Othman again. Yeah,
right.
They'll be back. They'll be sucking right back in. All us fans will be sucking back in. So
I don't know where they're picking.
24th? Wow.
22, between 22 and 24. Okay.
Well, we have no luck in the first 10 or first 12. So maybe we'll have some luck there. It's a deep draft. All right.
Is it?
No, I think it is, yes, from what I hear. Yeah, the Wheel of Doom, yeah. I just was too lazy to get the gooseneck as camera for the Wheel of Lame or Wheel of Doom. All right, so that's it. That's all I got. Let's go Carolina Hurricanes.
Yep, 2-2, about halfway through the third period.
I'll catch the end of that game.
Hopefully Carolina can.
Where is the game at? Out. Is it the Fairweather Arena?
Yes.
Oh, God.
Your favorite place.
Oh, God. All right, my friend.
All right, Eddie, always a pleasure.
Always a
Thanks,
pleasure.
everybody. Show will be on iTunes tomorrow. We love you guys. We'll see you soon. Good night, everybody.